Hi everyone, in today's video we are going to be talking about a new game that is coming soon called Borderlands 4. This video is sponsored by 2K, which are the creators of Borderlands, so thank you very much to 2K. You might actually recognize some of the other games that they've made, such as Civilization or NBA if you're into sports. So recently I was invited to play Borderlands 4 and have early access to it, so I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on it and my experience playing the game. Borderlands 4 will be launching on PC and console on September 12th. So I'm just gonna be really honest right now, I have never played any Borderlands games up until now. I've heard about Borderlands for a very long time, way back all the way when I was, I think maybe either primary school and high school, because I would see the Borderlands picture or game in like those like game stores such as EB Games, but I never really looked into the game at all. I always saw that one particular character on all Borderlands like pictures and posters and figured that the game wouldn't be for me, like not something I would enjoy. But I would always hear about it, like even my brother played it, but I just like never got into it, like just never looked into it. It was only until like last year where all my friends decided to play Borderlands as a group, and that's when I kind of heard more about it, like what the game was kind of about. Again, I didn't really look into the game, nor did I play it. However, I would always hear my friends having fun whenever they're playing in Discord together, and it did make me very interested in the game, not gonna lie. It did kind of like make me think, maybe I should give the game a shot. I did get even more interested when my friends started talking about what the game actually is about. So the game Borderlands is first and foremost a looter shooter game. So essentially a looter shooter is a shooting game where you constantly collect new items, hence the looting. You get your loot from defeating enemies, bosses, completing quests, all sorts of various ways, and all of that loot will help progress your character. The battles in this game can get quite chaotic as more and more enemies try to come for you, and the boss fights can get really crazy as you'll have to learn the mechanics on the fly. You'll be able to equip multiple different guns in your loadout, and you may find that different guns are more effective on certain enemies and at different times. Unlike a lot of traditional shooting games where you have a limited amount of guns to choose from and you have no progression, like you don't have any levels or you don't have any new skills, Borderlands actually has a lot of guns for you to play, and they actually have a lot of skills for you to experiment. Yes, you can actually play as different characters which will have different skills, which means different builds. And if you're someone that has watched me for a while and know me, then you know that I love theory crafting, I love making new builds, and I love experimenting with different builds when it comes to games. In the work in progress build, I played a character named Vex. She seemed to have quite a lot of different builds you could go. There was one build that focused on the panther that you can summon and it will help fight for you. Within that panther build, you can build different things where it would upgrade the panther or maybe even upgrade you instead. There was another summon build where instead of summoning a panther, you actually summon clones. There were also different types of clones you could make. There were range clones that could help you from afar. There were some melee clones that had some lifesteal if you spec'd into them. There are definitely a lot of skill builds that you can go with the characters, and it looks really fun. Like I am actually very interested in this, and this is only for the skills. Like with the weapons, you can also create different loadouts and have different customizations for your guns, which will mean different builds. So with all the customizations that you can have with the guns and your skills, the builds are actually kind of endless. Imagine trying out different builds along with your friends who are also trying their different builds as well. I personally have not been able to play it with friends just yet because Borderlands 4 isn't out yet. However, my friends did play the other versions of Borderlands and they seem to have a lot of fun. So maybe this is my time to finally play Borderlands with them. Which, by the way, this game will have full cross-platform support, so you do not have to worry about your friends being on a different console. So that covers most of the gameplay aspects of Borderlands 4. As for the story, Borderlands 4 will take place on a planet called Kairos. The planet is being controlled by an oppressive dictator called the Timekeeper. We as the player do not like that, so we go on a journey to try stop the Timekeeper with the help of our friends. There's definitely a lot more details to the story, however, I am kind of learning learning along with you, so we're kind of in the same boat together. You do not have to play through the other Borderlands to understand the story of Borderlands 4. In fact, I actually got to meet the creators of Borderlands, and they specifically said that they wanted Borderlands 4 to be the game for new Borderlands players. It doesn't matter if you've never played Borderlands before, it doesn't matter if you have no understanding of the game or the lore of it. They wanted this game to be something that anyone can just jump into, have some fun, and understand as they go along, and everyone will be on the same playing field. Let's start talking about my first impressions of Borderlands 4. So right off the bat, you can tell that Borderlands has quite a distinctive art style. I think it works really well for the game, especially because there are a lot of skills and I guess magic, which has a lot of color. Not to say that hyperrealism wouldn't be good for those type of stuff, but there is kind of like a charming aspect to this stylized art style, and I feel like it has a nice casual feel to it. Something where you can just jump into the world of Borderlands and not feel like it's so serious. So for the gameplay, I actually didn't start from the beginning. I actually got thrown into it on a level 5 account and then a level 20 account. So for my personal experience with the early playtesting, I didn't really understand everything about the lore. But again, that was just because I was thrown into it on a level 5 account and then onto a 20 account. So it's not because the story is confusing or hard to follow. As for the customization with the skills, I didn't really know what I was doing, more so because I didn't know what was considered good or what is important. I mean, really, I don't think there would be really a good or bad build. It just really depends on your playstyle and what you enjoy playing with. This is really just you playing against AI units, so honestly, just do whatever you want. Like, just go crazy with whatever builds that seems fun to you. I wouldn't say that I was overwhelmed by the different customizations I could have with my items and my skills, because I am very used to these type of games. I'm sure as you play more, you'll start to learn more about your abilities and different skills that you can learn. You would more allocate skill points as you go and building upon your current build. So I'm sure that people wouldn't feel overwhelmed with the final builds, and if anything, I think people would probably enjoy experimenting with the builds. As for the actual combat and shooting of the game, it feels nice. It does feel very nice to gun down a lot of enemies that are charging at you and trying to stay alive. I did actually have some trouble staying alive and I did die a few times, but thankfully the game doesn't punish you that heavily on it. Like, you just revive close by and you just have fun again, like just go in again. So we love that. Now, if you were to ask me if the game is hard or very difficult, I'm not too sure actually. I would say no, not really. I did get destroyed, but that's probably more because I'm just not used to Borderlands in general, and maybe I'm just like very rusty with shooting, I don't know. But I'm sure like after a bit of game time, you will feel quite familiar with Borderlands and it wouldn't be so difficult and you wouldn't be like getting destroyed all over the place. I could also imagine it being a lot more easier if you play with friends, where you can have friends to rely on to back you up. I also only got to verse one boss in the early access. There are definitely going to be more bosses out there that I have yet to verse, so I'm not too sure how hard they are, but the one that I versed was quite challenging. I did die quite a few times, but it's kind of like a trial and error type of thing, where once you learn the mechanics of the boss, you can easily defeat them if you do the mechanics properly. Like for the boss I versed, I was getting destroyed at the beginning. However, once I started learning their attack patterns, I was able to dodge a lot of their attacks by simply jumping at the right time or dashing away at the right time. There was also one moment where I died pretty quickly and I wasn't too sure until later I realized it was because the floor was poison, and the only way for me to survive was to hook myself all the way to the sky, where they had these like dangly things that spawn where I can just stand on top of or just like stay in the air so I wouldn't be touching the ground. I was finally able to beat the boss when I finally did the mechanics properly. Overall, I would say I'm definitely interested in Borderlands. I think more so if I was to play with friends, because I'm just thinking about the times when my friends played Borderlands and they were all in a Discord call having fun, so I kind of want that for myself. For me personally, if there's one thing that I am very interested about in this game, it would be the skill building and the theory crafting that you could do. There aren't that many successful looter shooter games that can do it correctly, and hey, Borderlands has been out for a very long time now, for many years, so they know what they're doing and they've been doing it correctly all these years. I would say that if you are into looter shooter games, then you should definitely give this one a go. If you're still feeling on the fence with it, then maybe watch a few videos on it to see if it sparks any more interest with you, and maybe ask some of your friends friends if they might be interested in this game, because I'm sure that this game is a lot more fun when you play it with friends, as with anything in life. So this is what mostly Borderlands 4 is about, and this is my first impressions of the game. I did have fun playing this game, and I'm sure a lot of you will also have fun playing it. Thank you so much to 2K for inviting me out for the early access and for sponsoring this video. Please do check out Borderlands, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.